Albuquerque's Benito Martinez shares how acting brings the story to life.
What is the spark that keeps you fueled to continue to create and really practice and pursue your art?
I grew up in the theater. My mom started a theater company here in Albuquerque called La Compañía de Teatro de Albuquerque. Long name, so we used to call it La Compañía, with an amazing genius, crazy person named Jose Rodriguez. My dad also had a mariachi. And so he was all about, practice and learning new songs and new instruments. And so I grew up curious and exploring. I love what I do. And the secret is if I didn't get paid $1 for it, I would still do it. Because I get to explore the world and try to interpret feelings and thoughts and emotions and other people's lives. It's like golf. You got that really good shot and you're like, and you spend years trying to get that same thing again. That's what it's like. You get a good roll and you're like, this is awesome. I mean something. I'm here for a reason. And then you hope to get the next one that's just like it. I've been lucky.
Is it always being in search of like the perfect role? Is there like this elusive kind of?
It is.
Or your perfect performance in that role?
Perfect performance within that role, or a perfect moment within that. I just finished doing American Crime. And when we were doing the pilot, everything's going really well and just really, really great scenes. But there's a moment where they take my kid away. And we got to the place where it really hurt. I mean, they captured it on moment. I really have this horrible feeling that my son's been taken away. Wow. And when you're doing film acting, you want to make sure that those genuine moments are captured on film. And that carried me for the rest of the series. It was like, oh yeah, I'm in it. I know what this guy feels like. I know what he thinks. I'm there. And so, throughout the course of the season, I continue to have these wonderful, genuine moments because I had found that character deeply.
As a Boricua, how do you bring culture and identity to your art?
When I got accepted to drama school, I was coming from Los Angeles. So I was going to make the big move to London, go to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, a very prestigious school. When I moved from Albuquerque to Hollywood, I kept getting challenged. Who are you? Where are you from? And I was like, well, I'm Spanish. Well, you're from Spain? No, I'm from Albuquerque. Oh, no, you're not Spanish. Oh, then I'm Mexican. You're from Mexico? No, well,
Not exactly.
So I realized that my identity as New Mexican was, it didn't seem to fill the blank, thing on the page, what are you? When I moved to London, I realized I took my vihuela, which is the instrument I played in the mariachi, and the poncho that Jose gave my mom when he left the theater company. He said, here, carry it on. So when I got accepted to Lambda, my mom said, here, carry it on. And I would walk down the streets of London wearing this poncho. We had a ball and I had a black tux on and I had the poncho on top. It was raining, I put it on, and I took that with me. And when I was sad or whatever, I'd play the vihuela or I brought my New Mexican culture with me, my artistic roots with me. And that, I didn't know why, but instinctively I needed to have that piece of home with me. And that's what I try to bring in all the pieces, that when I can, I try to bring that sense of home. My home, my original home, is far different than other characters. But I'm so comfortable now with just being New Mexican, like somebody would be being a Texan or a Californian or from New York or New Yorker. I'm a New Mexican, and I don't have to define it. I know what that is.
What does that mean to up-and-coming young people in New Mexico, emerging actors and artists in New Mexico, to be able to see how you've been able to integrate or just keep your culture at the center of your work?
That's a great question. I don't know. That's something that they have to explore within themselves. Whatever it is that is your driving force. I have that because my dad did the mariachi and my mom created a theater company. Those are not just my parents, but those are the tools they gave me to take on the world. It could be something different for someone else. You have to find your own voice. You must have it. You must have an opinion. I guess that's what I would say. Have an opinion, stick with your opinion. You can change it if you want to, but don't have no opinion. Don't be without a thought.
What was it like to come home for Bless Me Ultima?
When I read the script, I was like, yeah, he got it right. Carl Franklin got it right. And then we came out here and We did it the right way, using the sky as one of the characters in the movie. I loved that role, Gabriel. His philosophy about church, about kids, about spirituality, about drinking, about how much he loved his wife, how much he felt for his kids, the sense of travel. I knew all of those things. It was so many New Mexicans that I'd grown up with. So coming back and doing all that, it was, I mean, constantly just an emotional ride for me. A very spiritual one as well.
In contrast, talk a little bit about American Crime.
I was both people. I was that kid when I was that age. And I am that dad who has teenage kids. You know, and my dad was that guy, you know, do things the right way. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. So I was like, I know this voice. I know this guy. We knew that the stories that we were telling needed to be told. And the way that John was handling it with this care and this concern and this respect, yet there were huge topics: race relations, immigration, the criminal justice system, you know, jails, what happens to a kid when he's, you know, wrongly accused. We had a sense of duty and responsibility. And it was going to take the best actor that we could be, you know, to really get into the skin of this and see what happens.
In your interpretation, why are stories critical in general? What's important to us humans about story?
Oh, everything. Everything. That's how we tell history. That's how we pass down tradition. That's how we open our minds and see the space before we even get there. We evoke imagination, emotion. We make the heart beat faster. We make tears drip from our eyes. Storytelling's everything. It is examining the human condition in its many different forms. And my tool, or my part of that is to make sure that story lands. Whatever it is, if it's a monologue or if it's a guy crossing the street, as long as that story lands on you, because through that we change.
What is important to you about your work?
My goal has always been to work with the best actors, writers, directors that I can possibly work with, to learn from them. I am forever a student of this art. Ultimately, my work, I hope, people can say, you know, that character was original, and that the way you did it was so, it touched me, it moved me, I learned from it, I hated you, whatever the story was supposed to have been. Telling good stories is the mission. And that the piece that I play within the bigger picture is that I've done a good job and hopefully touch someone along the way.